And welcome back to the Morning Blend. It's time for Ryan J. Reviews. And in addition to his hosting duties, we're not letting him off the hook with his regular gig. We've got to get some of these movie reviews. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Good to see you again. Honey, I'm sticking around.
I know.
Can't
You're going to stick around
me.
for the whole show. So let's talk movies because this is your forte. Prometheus is coming out.
I'm so excited. Like, I'm actually jazzed up about this. This is my favorite film of the year so far. This movie is genius.
I didn't expect you to say that.
Really? Well, it's Ridley Scott is the director, and he's back doing this, back to the Alien franchise. He did the first Alien film with Sigourney Weaver.
Okay.
And there was much debate early on and buzz about this film, whether or not this was going to be a prequel, and then he confirmed that it was about a month before, its release today. And it is just incredible from every single angle of filmmaking. It's riveting. As a matter of fact, it's so riveting, I almost feel that term is overused in any other context.
Really?
Yeah, I almost was like, jaw dropped throughout this entire film, from the performances, the script, the style, the tone, all of it, everything outstanding.
This is a really high-rated review from you.
I'm raving.
I know, extremely. Okay, so do you have to be an Alien fan, because this is a prequel, like you said, to Alien? Do you have to have liked those movies to like this movie?
I think it will help in the sense that if you like that tone of film, if you like a sci-fi thriller, it helps. But you don't have to have seen the Alien films because it is a prequel. It's not really towards the end of Prometheus that you get a flavor for the aliens, really. And it's got a great cast. Noomi Rapace, who is the original girl with the dragon tattoo.
Okay.
This is it's her leading role. And then there's also Charlize Theron, Michael Fassbender, and just incredible performances, brilliant script. A lot of interesting themes are raised during this. Relationships and spirituality, non-duality, the kind of things that you'll talk about with friends leaving the theater. Like, what would we do if we actually were made contact with aliens? Do you think we'd handle it the way that this film shows?
That's interesting, because I don't think a lot of movies, leave you with conversation topics like a book or a book club would. So that's very interesting. How about the 3D? I'm not a big fan of 3D. Did you like it?
Right. I don't always love it unless it's like spectacular. And here it's not over the top spectacular like Avatar, but it is dazzling and it is well done, and it does add a lot of dimension. So I do recommend seeing this in 3D. Just overall, this movie is such an event and an experience that, it's rated R, so if you can, it's a really good one.
Is there going to be a sequel to this? Is this leading us somewhere?
I hope so, because it was that good, and I think it could lead to sequels. And Ridley Scott said he hopes that it does well enough at the box office to lead to sequels. So we'll see.
And it opens tonight?
Yeah, today.
All right, today. Madagascar III. A lot of people are waiting for this. The families. It's Europe's most wanted. We were sporting the wigs a little earlier this week.
Because that catchy polka dot circus afro song is all over the place.
It's fantastic.
And it's great. I took my niece and nephew, Gabby and Noah, to the screening with me.
Okay.
And we had a lot of fun. And they liked it. I always like to bring them because they're of the generation that, there they are. You can see them in their 3D glasses. And they both liked it and thought their friends would like it. And I think it's great. I think the best family films are those that will appeal to all ages. So those of us who are adults in the audience, if there are some, innuendo humor that will grab us, we kind of are along for the ride anyway. So it's got a good story, and the voice talents of Ben Stiller, Chris Rock, David Schwimmer, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Frances McDormand plays the bad guy in this.
Okay.
And she's really great. She has a great French accent.
I always like Chris Rock as a cartoon character. I think his voice is just so perfect for it. And he was being interviewed on the Today Show yesterday. And it's like every time I look at him, I just picture him as an animated character.
As a zebra.
I do. Or anything, it's just the way it is.
He's super funny.
Story in general, is this, is it new enough from some of the other ones?
It is. It's a really good sequel because the other two are very beloved also. And this one does kind of come full circle, but it has that universal story of wanting to find home. So for me, I likened it almost to The Wizard of Oz. The theme of trying to get back home. These animals are trying to get back to New York City in their zoo. And so that's kind of a universal theme for me. And then also they meet all the circus animals, which really pumps up the energy. And the color is, there we go.
There's the wig.
Best moment in the film.
Absolutely. And the 3D, again, this one's a 3D guide. Does animation lend itself to 3D better?
Totally. I think animated films do make the 3D pop much more. So they have the advantage that way.
Okay. Moonrise Kingdom, I have not heard of, and that's the third movie you reviewed.
Well, this is by director Wes Anderson, and I'm not generally a fan of his. He's done other movies like Royal Tenenbaums, Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, Fantastic Mr. Fox, which was that animated film voiced by George Clooney and Meryl
Streep.
I'm just not a fan of this director in terms of his tone and his sensibility, and everything he does seems really drawn out and boring to me, and he has like a quirky, odd sensibility. This film I actually like best among his films, but I still didn't like it enough to recommend seeing it.
It looks very independent, like an independent movie.
It is totally. He does that. He does very artistic films, and he does have a really brilliant vision as a director. His storyboards incredibly well, and he shoots really well, and his use of color and tone, as you can see in the trailer here that we're seeing.
It's very yellow.
Yeah, very yellow, and he uses a lot of like 60s mod type looks to it, so it has a lot of art to it. But overall, it's at best it's a rental, but for me, if you've got my sensibility in films, I don't really think it's worth seeing. I'm still kind of bored during it.
Okay, so the biggest one to see this weekend you think is Prometheus.
Absolutely.
All right, now you know what you're doing this weekend. Ryan has reviewed all the movies that are out right now, so if you're heading out to the theater this weekend, make sure that you check out his website. It's ryanjreviews.com to see where you should spend your time and your money.